This is going to be a B-series engine removal video. I know that when I was doing this for the first time, I definitely didn't go as fast as I thought it would, and I ran into problems that I didn't foresee. So I figured I'd make a video on it now that I know all the ins and outs. Where the car is at pretty much is if it's jacked up, the front wheels are off, and I don't have the front two motor mounts. The one that comes off the AC bracket, I'm missing that, and I don't have since I have LS transmission, it just doesn't have a bracket there, so that might be the only differences. And I'm missing a lot of other things that are gonna make it easier for me, like there's no brake system, there's no washer fluid, there's just completely stripped down. So I'm gonna have real easy access to everything, so it might be a little bit harder to get at stuff. But so I'm gonna show all the steps and everything. I'm gonna start with the fluids. I'm gonna drain the radiator, drain the transmission fluid, because it will leak out of the axles if it tips a little bit. I guess you don't have to, because it's not gonna spill that much, but actually I might not drain it because mine has been leaking, so there's probably barely any fluid left in it. And yeah, the axle seal on this side, the passenger side axle seal is just gone. Just spits out tranny fluid. So I'm gonna replace that. Yeah, so drain the radiator, drain the tranny fluid if you want to, and come back to that. Alright, so I've got the radiator drained out, just like that. I'm gonna put the two plugs back in, and then take it out, get that out the way. Alright, I got the radiator out, drained out the antifreeze. All I used was a flathead and some 45 bended snips. I probably should have said this before, but before you do anything, always undo the negative on the battery. You can never go wrong there. Just got the radiator out of the way. Another thing that is going to be different is my exhaust is just open header right now, so you're gonna have to get under there and take your headers off of your cat or your test pipe or whatever you got. Yeah, so I decided I'm not gonna drain my tranny fluid. If it leaks little, whatever, I'm just gonna deal with it. I think I'm gonna take the battery out. Or no, I'm gonna take off my slave cylinder, because I'm using a hydraulic to cable conversion. So this I got this line bent so that way it'll fit in there nice. So I'm gonna undo it right here after this rubber hose. I'm gonna undo it from this bracket and swing that up out of the way, and then just leave all this hooked onto the car, just how it is. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do next. Undo the clutch. I'll undo the all the grounds. So one here, one there. I think that's it. I just got the two. I'm gonna take the battery out, and I think I'll take the exhaust off too. It's just these 12mm nuts. Just hold it on. Alright, we'll be back. So I got the battery out. I got the clutch line loosened right there. I just got a paper towel there to pick up all the brake fluid that leaks out. I got the ground, the main ground on the tranny off. Got this upper ground off, and I'm gonna start taking the exhaust off. And all tools I used so far was a flathead, 45-degree bend needle nose, 10mm and 12mm wrench, and a metric socket set. And I've used the 10mm and 12mm socket heads. And I'm going to use a combination of the socket where I can get it in, and then I'm going to use a wrench on the ones that I can't get the socket into. And then the exhaust will be off. So I started taking the exhaust off, and I realized that I have to take my wideband off to take the headers off. So I figured I'll go through and I'll undo all the electronics now. So the main things that you're going to be undoing is inside this fuse box, this plug on the right side here, this one, gotta take that off with a Phillips head. Then I got the gas tank in here, so it's hard to see, but in here you're gonna have your computer, and you're gonna have this computer, there's the harness, then you're gonna have that green plug there. You're gonna have to take off the two gray and the blue plug, and you're gonna have to unplug that green plug. And then you're gonna wanna pull that whole harness right through the hole right there. The whole thing will just come right through that. And then take off that one right there that you can see, the one on the right side. And then there's a plug right here, that big plug next to my my clutch master. You gotta unplug that too. So I'm gonna unplug everything, and then I'll come back. Alright, so I got a few things unplugged. I got the computer unplugged, and that's right here. These are the 3 plugs to the computer. Here's the green plug that goes to the harness, and then you just slide all that. It all just comes right through the hole right there. So there's all that. You undo this one from right here. That's just a Phillips head. Nice and easy. And here's the big one. Take that off. I got mine. I swung it up behind the fuel return, and then I got it tucked down. Tucked down right there, just so it's out of the way. Obvious one, you're gonna wanna take off your throttle cable. You just pop that off. Swing that out of the way. If you got an air-fuel ratio gauge, don't forget to take that off. Well, you're gonna have to take off your oxygen sensor either way. So there's gonna be a sensor on the exhaust headers you're gonna have to take off, but there's the other end for the air fuel ratio gauge. Just got right there. And that's pretty much all the wiring that you're gonna have to undo. Oh, one more, the last thing. Excuse me. Is the starter. Right here, you're gonna have. I don't really have any light, but you're gonna see the. It'll be connected to this right here. This on the red battery. One end will be going into the fuse box. The other end is gonna come down here and hook on the starter. All you gotta do is just undo the nut and take that off the starter. And yeah, that's it for the electrical stuff. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the headers off, and I'm going to loosen up the fuel rail and take off the undo it from the filter right there, and then I'm going to take the return line off, and I'll come back when that's all done. Alright, got everything done. Got all the wires off. I got the clutch, the rubber clutch line hanged up out of there. So yeah, it's better. Yep, got the power line of the starter off now. There's a few sensors you're gonna have to take off. You're gonna have to take off. Well, because I have this in a Civic, it's the intake air temperature sensor. It's right there. That's on the intake manifold. Can you see it over there? But yeah, if you're taking this out of an Integra, the sensor should probably still go plug in like right there into the stock one. I'm gonna have to take out this for the Evap system, and this one doesn't have it because the power steering's not in the car, but there's also going to be a sensor that hooks into the power steering pump. But yeah, just take those sensors off, and all the other ones can stay. See, I got this here, so I can take the harness. I can just swing the whole harness up onto the motor like that. Yep. So next thing I'm going to be working on is the fuel system. I'm going to not bleed it, but take the pressure off. Try to catch any gas that falls with some paper towels, and yep, undo that. And then coming up on the axles. Axles are going to be a big one. Not going to be hard for me because I got my ball joints already loose, so I just gotta take my castle nuts off and then slide the assembly out, and then I can just, pry the axle out. What I use when ball joints are giving me a problem, I use these. I get whatever one that will fit in there, and I take a big rubber mallet and I just hit it, and then it'll just pop apart eventually. Maybe use some Marvel Mystery Oil, some PB Blaster. That couldn't hurt. Yeah, so getting near the end. Headers are loosened. Gonna finish taking those off. Axles are gonna be coming up next. Fuel system's almost ready to come off. It's just this one return line and the one line to the rail, so it's really easy to take off. And then we're going to be moving on to the motor mounts. I only got 3 out of the usual 5 on this, but the other 2 aren't that hard to take off. I actually have one right here. So it'd be like, this would be mounted under the car, and then that would be mounted to the tranny. So you either take the 3 off the front, or you take off this one bolt here, but then you gotta slide it out. But it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty easy to get to. It just sits like right here. Yeah, so I'll come back when I got more finished. Alright, so I got all the exhaust bolts just about to come off. They're all sitting at the end of their studs. All I've used was the socket with a 14. I used a like a 2-inch and then like a 4-inch extension, and then I just used a 12mm wrench on ones that I just couldn't get to. So yep, I'm gonna pop the headers off and then start working on the fuel system. Alright, so I dropped the exhaust down, and I've never been able to get one of these out through the top. They like to drop down, and then I put it on like its side, and I just grab it like mid-pipe, and then just pull it out of there. Yep. There it is. Yeah, so now I'm gonna do the fuel system. All it is it's a clamp right there. That's the fuel return, and then that's the fuel line into the rail. So just gotta take those off and try not to spill a lot of gas. And the next thing that's coming up is gonna be motor mounts. Oh yeah, and axles. Can't forget about the axles. Alright, so I got the fuel line off. As you can see, I had to use a 19 wrench and a 14 wrench. I had to grab the filter by the bottom with the 19, and then grab this fitting with the 14 on the top, and just, you know, twist them towards each other. And it popped. Got it off. Here's the return side. Got the tube right there. So yep, the only thing holding this in is the 3 motor mounts, the axles, and the shift linkage. So I'm probably gonna go for the shift linkage next. It's not so bad. It'll be bad if you've never taken it off before. So you got a roller pin. That's a bitch to get out. You can almost see it from the top here, because I got so much stuff moved out of the way. Yeah, right there. Oh, that's when the bitch pin goes in, and then the one on the side of it just bolts on with like a 12mm bolt. That'll be easy to get off. And then you just got inside here, they bolt up through the floor. You just got, I think they're 12s, just two more 12mm bolts. So I'm gonna go for the shift linkage next, and we'll come back. So I got the shift linkage off. I always hate doing that because I hate getting on these fucking things and going under the car. Got like no room. It's just shit falling on you. Pain in the ass, but here it is. Yeah, instead of using a roll pin, I just started using a bolt and a nut and a bolt, because I mean, on like a final setup where I'm not going to be touching it for a while, I got roll pins. But yeah, I've been taking this off like a few times a month, just, you know, testing the engine, getting everything working right. And it adds a little slop in the stick, but you can still go into every gear, so it's fine. And then Yep, that's it. Got the shift linkage out. So axles are next. Like I said earlier, to pop ball joints, you want one of those. You want to just stick it in right between the joint and the lower control arm right there, and you just want to whack it with a mallet, and it should just pop them right apart. Yep, so here's where everything's at. I'm going to take out the passenger axle first, because that one's a lot easier, because it doesn't have the bend in it, and it's a lot easier to pry from this side. So you got all this space, just got to put a pry bar between the transmission and the big boot right there, and just pop it off. This side's not so easy, because the part that goes right into the tranny is just a little metal plate, so you can't pry on that. You got to pry back here by where the bracket is. So I might need some help on that, so I won't be able to. That might be the one thing that will actually take 2 people. But yeah, everything so far, it's been just me. These are the only tools I've used. Well, a few wrenches, a socket. I got 4 wrenches out, a socket, a few socket heads, a 2 and 4 inch extender, a flathead, a Phillips, and a needle nose pliers. You know, you don't need a whole lot of tools to do this. I mean, you need some tools, but you don't need every tool. So I'm gonna get started on probably that back motor mount and this axle, because it can sit on just the 2. The motor can sit on these, the one over there and the one right here. And so I'm going to work on getting this axle out and taking that back motor mount out. I guess I'll show you this real quick. So since I got mine all loose, I'll turn the light on. See if I can get the light to hang right there. Alright. So my castle nuts are loose. So there's the castle nut. And then, alright, you heard that pop. Now since mine are really loose, all I had to do was just shake the brake caliper. I just shook the whole assembly up and down, and it popped out. So you're probably gonna have to get one of those things and just shove it right in there. And it's probably hard to see, but you're gonna just want to pop that ball joint, and this piece can pop up and slide out of the way. I'm not popping it up because I gotta find my pry bar, because what'll happen is if you just try to yank on the shaft, there's a U-joint in there, and you'll pop it apart and it won't actually pop out of the tranny. So I've made that mistake before. So I'm gonna pop that out, hold it off to the side a bit, and I'm gonna go in with a pry bar and pop it out of the transmission. But yep, that's where it's at right now. Coming along. Yeah, so I got the back motor mount bolt out. It just goes in right there. Took it out from the other side. So now the only things left are the 2 axles and this motor mount and the other motor mount. So I got this all popped off right here, and the axles, it's loose, but I can't get anything in between that big axle piece right there and the transmission. I can't get anything in there to pry with. And I also have nothing down here supporting this, so this is just kind of going all over the place. I thought I could get this one out by myself, but I think I'm gonna need help. And I know I'm gonna need help for the other one, so I think yeah, so my recording device died, and I ended up just finishing up and not recording the last bit, but loosen that mount by pulling the pulled the rod out. The motor was, just hanging by here and over there, and the car was right here. So all I did was wrap the strap around it. I went around the mount like that, and under the power steering bracket right there, and then down here I have it right there, going under the tranny, coming up on the back side, like right there, and then just like that, hooked it up to a hoist and pulled it out. Yep. Just like that. This bracket came off with just 3 bolts, and then this side it's just 3 bolts there, and then 3 bolts on the car itself. But yep, motor's out. Came out for me pretty easy, so I didn't have the radiator. Once I undid the mounts, I rolled the car back a few inches, and the motor stayed in place, and then it just came straight up, nice and easy. And yeah, it's a whole B series removal. And then I'm gonna make another video on how to take out a D series and how to put a B series in. So, well, that'll be 2 more videos. Yep, it took me definitely took some time. I'd say probably like 5 to 7 hours in total work time, minus, if I took out like the downtime when I was just like not doing nothing.